Okay, so this is actually on test number 2, a problem that gets missed a lot. I see this being one of the most missed problems. This is a piecewise function where each one of these pieces here will be a line. And so the first one, I can see that if x is less than or equal to -2, then I want to graph this line. So that's like saying y equals 0.5x plus 4. So if x is less than or equal to -2. Now, one way you could graph is you could just simply find points to plot, but that might be, take a little time. So what I do is remember that this is the slope, and that's the same as 1/2. So I know that it's less than or equal to -2. Okay, so I know that there will be a dot at -2, but where? Well, why not just plug in -2 first? And so I can see that's, -1, and I can see it would be at 3. So at 3, there is a solid dot. And again, the reason why, because of that line under it. I know that this graph is, I don't know exactly where it's going through yet, but I know it looks like that. How do I know it looks like that? Because you have a positive slope. So let's see if I can find another point. Well, again, knowing the slope, the 1/2, what that means is for every, and I could say here, so 1/2. So for every one that we go over, we're going to go down 1/2. So every one that we go down, we're going to go over 1/2. And if you really wanted to check that, notice this point is what, -4, 2. Just see if it works. Plug in here, -4, so 0.5 times -4 plus 4. It's a little easier. I know you guys don't love fractions, but it's a little easier for me to do this as a fraction, but this is -2 plus 4. So that would be 2, and so that makes sense. So I'm just going down by over 1 and down by 1/2 over 1 and continuing this. Let me get this next one. Over 1, down by 1/2, over 1, down by 1/2, and it looks like it's even hitting at -8. Well, again, how could you see? If you have y equals 0.5 times -8, throw that in your calculator. It's basically saying half of -8, which is -4, and that looks like this would be correct. So all I'm going to do is draw this line. Again, the important part was this is solid because that has a negative sign. All right, let me get a different color since this is kind of becoming a mess. And so now I want to graph this. This is pretty easy. So this is just saying y equals -3, which just means at 1, 2, 3, -3, we just have a straight line. But it's saying that this straight line is between -2 and it can't touch -2. So if I go right here, that will be an open circle. And then it goes and it can touch at 2. So this will go, to right there. So that would be solid. All right, we're down to the last one. Let me get one more color. We'll go green. And so now I'm starting greater than 2, and it says at y equals x minus 5. Well, once again, think about it. If you let x, or let me say if you let y equal 0, then solving this, wouldn't x equal 5? So it looks like it's going to go through that point, and it is going to shoot up forever. So a lot of these just take a little practice, but breaking down each piece, hence get why it's called a piecewise function.